Our own Colleen Jones named to the Hall for winning multiple curling championships at the national and international level, and also for her enthusiasm in promoting the sport. Colleen is still part of the broadcast team at CBC Nova Scotia. She's in Toronto today for today's announcement. She joins me in studio. Congratulations.
Thank you, Carol. Nice to be with you.
Oh, nice to be with you.
So, I get goosebumps thinking of this.
Really? Why is that?
It's such a special place, the Canada Sport Hall of Fame. It's sort of where you never dream of going there, ever, you know, as an athlete. And then when you get in and you realize you're in such an elite group who have done a lot of the same things you've done, worked and dedicated a lot of their life to this kind of pursuit of excellence. And everybody's journey, like even when Mike Pinball Clemens got up and told his story, you related to it. When Stephanie told her story, the Paralympian swimmer, you could relate. Sue Holloway, same thing. Everybody kind of knows.
What's the commonality that you relate to?
You know the sacrifice that you did. You know that at one point, maybe when you were an 11 or 12-year-old girl, you had a dream of being more than what you could be. And even you knew if you didn't get there, you believed in the chase of that dream. So that seemed to be a common theme for everyone. And the group that I'm going in with is just, you know, they're such incredible people, and what they've accomplished is amazing.
What was your dream when it came to curling?
To be the best that I could be, in a nutshell. Never thought I'd be lucky enough to win what we won. And but really just wanting to see what else I could do. How far can you push yourself, your mental capabilities, your technique, your ideas of trying to get better? To kind of just trying to keep chasing that was the journey I loved, almost more than the winning. The winning was always icing on the cake, but the chase of trying to figure out how to get better. And frankly, I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed, the sport has been so good to me. I mean, my teammates, Kim, Marianne, and Nancy have been like sisters. The one we won the, you know, many Canadian titles with. I lost count. But anyhow, it's just been such a fun ride.
Nice to lose count, isn't it? Yeah,
awesome.
But you were also team leader, right? So you not only competition, but you had to compete, but also keep your team in a place that they needed to be.
You definitely manage them. You kind of can figure out, that's what a skip does. It's sort of like a quarterback on a football team. You kind of say, okay, this is the route we're taking and this is how we're going to get there. So I've definitely done that, but they were kind of my partners in crime and accomplices. They wanted this as much as I did. And it's too bad all four of us aren't going in together, but they made the Canadian Curling Sports Hall of Fame sort of 10 years after I made it. So they're just 10 years. I'm older than them.
You deserve it. Come on.
It's been such a fun ride, you know, and I look back at sort of that picture there and go, that's when we won the world title. That when you're sitting on top of the world and kind of know, you know, you did what you dreamt about doing. It's pretty special.
But in the beginning, you said one of the first things you thought of, you said all the sacrifice too that people. What kind of sacrifice was involved?
It takes a discipline. Like, think of your day at the end of the day. Do you really want to go to the gym, go work out, go throw rocks? You know, it takes a sacrifice to do that. It takes a discipline to go away on weekends and curl and to want to keep chasing it and keep planning it. I mean, definitely my family always had my back and always supported and loved. My boys, Zach and Luke, loved that, you know, I was kind of doing this, and there was a part of me that wanted to show them that anything is possible. You know, you can kind of come from little old Nova Scotia and accomplish some big things if you kind of put your brain power and mind to it. So those are the kind of sacrifices. Just, you know, you're single-minded, I think, when you're chasing especially a sports dream, no matter what the sport. And that, again, was a really common theme today. You know, chatting with my new best friend, Brian Trottier, all those Stanley Cups he won, there was sacrifice and dedication to get to that dream. I got to wear all of his Stanley Cup rings. You should have seen the bling on my hands earlier today. Mike Pinball Clemens, I mean, I was tearing up because he talked about the sacrifices his single mom made growing up and his ambition. I mean, how tall is Pinball Clemens? 5'3", or something. I was taller than him. He didn't let that stand in his way. So hearing those stories of sort of the things everybody's done to get to this point, I mean, everybody's loved the ride. Everybody there, I love the ride. But
what could have stood in your way?
Being in Nova Scotia at the time when I won my first championship in '82, nobody had else won for women in Nova Scotia in curling at that point. And we were kind of considered an outpost backwater of curling land. And I was always reading about the great curlers of Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Alberta. And you know, we did not have 24/7 coverage of curling like we have today, hundreds and hundreds of hours on TV, no YouTube videos to study. You were kind of on your own trying to figure out how to do it. And those were good lessons you learned by trying to figure out and self-teach yourself. Although I did have some amazing coaches on the way. But I think being from Nova Scotia, unlike curlers from Ontario or Manitoba or Saskatchewan, where there are a dime a dozen, you were kind of, the number game was against you. And I remember the first time we went to the Canadian Championships, people had us picked second to last. And so you kind of overcome that inferiority complex of maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe they're right.
Or maybe I'll show them.
And maybe I'll show them.
Yeah, and you certainly did.
I try.
Colleen, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you again, Carol.
Nice to see you. I remember we used to work together in Halifax. I remember, in fact, there's this fight that I remember seeing you on air, and you were always doing the weather and sports, and you were always very cheery and, you know, easygoing. And then I saw you curl, and I saw your eyes go with that intense, competitive look in your eyes, and I thought,
killer.
wow.
And you know,
you have a killer look.
Somebody told me I had Maurice Richard eyes, and I said, thank you so much. Like, that is the nicest compliment you could pay me ever. It was an honor to hear that.
All right, the CBC's Colleen Jones inducted into Canada's Sports Hall of Fame today. Congratulations.
Thank you.